The morning sun bathed the bustling city in golden light as Malcolm Roberts stepped out of the luxury sedan, suitcase in hand, his sharp black suit hugging his tall, athletic frame. He was on his way to a business summit in New York, set to deliver a keynote that would reshape investment strategies across Africa. Malcolm wasn't just any executive. He was the CEO of one of the most innovative tech startups on the continent. With a calm yet commanding presence, his every move exuded quiet confidence. He had built his empire from scratch, overcoming obstacles that would have crushed many. This flight was supposed to be another step in his journey of global influence. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes. As Malcolm wheeled his carry-on toward the terminal, he noticed an elderly woman struggling near the curb. Her cane had slipped, her bag spilled across the pavement, and most passers-by barely glanced in her direction. She wore a faded floral dress and old sandals, her white hair pinned back neatly despite the chaos around her. Without hesitation, Malcolm veered off course. Let me help you," he said gently. She looked up, startled. "Oh, thank you, son. These people just rush around like I don't exist." He knelt, gathering her scattered items, books, a cloth-wrapped lunch, a faded boarding pass, and offered his arm. She gripped it gratefully as he led her slowly inside. Every few steps, she paused to catch her breath. Inside, the departure board blinked. His flight was already boarding. A voice announced the final call. He looked from the gate to the old woman, whose breathing was labored. "Please, don't miss your flight because of me," she said softly. "I'll catch the next one," Malcolm replied. "Let's get you seated first." He found her a wheelchair and rolled her to the check-in desk, explaining her situation to the staff. The agent barely listened, scoffing at the old lady. "You should have come earlier," the woman behind the desk snapped. "I'll pay for a porter." "Just treat her with respect," Malcolm said, his voice cool but firm. When the agent rolled her eyes and waved them off, Malcolm's tone sharpened. "What's your name?" She suddenly looked nervous but still dismissed him. He didn't push further. Instead, he escorted the elderly woman himself, right to the gate. His own flight had taken off moments earlier. But the woman was finally safe and calm. "You're a rare kind," she whispered as he turned to leave. "Don't think this kindness goes unnoticed." He smiled, nodded, and left to rebook his trip. As he approached the service counter, a tall man in a navy uniform, clearly a shift manager, cut him off. You were interfering with staff at Gate 4, he barked. "What do you think you're doing, disrupting protocol?" Malcolm kept his composure. "I was helping an elderly passenger who needed assistance." "You people think you can walk in and demand things because you wear a suit," the manager hissed. "Excuse me. You missed your flight. Not our problem. Get in line like everyone else." Before Malcolm could respond, another voice cut through the tension. "David, step aside." All heads turned. The elderly woman stood there, without the wheelchair, her back straight, voice strong. The porters, security, and even the front desk froze in recognition. The manager blinked. I didn't realize you were still here." She walked forward slowly, dignity in every step. "You didn't recognize me because you don't see people. You see power suits and dismiss those without them." David stammered, I didn't mean." "I am Evelyn Monroe," she said, "founder and chairwoman of SkyWest Airlines." Gasps rippled across the room. Malcolm's eyes widened. The frail woman he had helped, she owned the entire airline. She turned to Malcolm. "Young man, your act of kindness speaks volumes about your character. You had every reason to walk past me. Instead, you chose humanity over hurry." Then her eyes turned to David. "This is not the first complaint I've heard about you. You're disrespectful, arrogant, and unfit to lead any team, especially one responsible for our passengers' well-being." David paled. "Please, give me another chance." "You've had chances," Evelyn replied coldly. "Consider this your last day with SkyWest." Security quietly approached the stunned manager. Malcolm remained silent, unsure how to respond. Evelyn turned back to him. "Come with me," she said. Minutes later, Malcolm found himself in the executive lounge, seated beside Evelyn as she sipped tea with steady hands. "You see, Mr. Roberts," she began, "I travel incognito every few months. I like to see how my staff treat people when they think no one's watching. Most fail." He chuckled. You caught me off guard too. And you passed. Not just as a businessman, but as a decent human being. I wasn't raised to ignore those in need. Evelyn smiled. That spirit is rare in your generation. Which is why I'd like to invite you to speak at our Global Leadership Summit in Switzerland next month. Malcolm blinked. I didn't expect that. You're the kind of leader the world needs. Not just numbers and profits, but heart. They talked for another hour, sharing stories, discussing partnerships, and exchanging cards. Malcolm eventually boarded another flight, this time in first class, with complimentary upgrades courtesy of SkyWest. But the real upgrade wasn't the seat, it was the connection, the recognition, and the reminder that character still mattered in a world that moved too fast. Moral lesson. In a society that often rewards speed and success over sincerity and kindness, this story reminds us that who we are when no one's watching defines our true value. Treating others with dignity and compassion, regardless of status, can open doors you never expected. Power may command fear, but integrity earns respect. Message to society. Success should never make us forget our roots or blind us to the needs around us. Sometimes, a small act of kindness becomes the greatest investment in humanity.